2025, 6 p.m. regular joint meeting of the Bell Garden City
I'm sorry,
Council.
Mayor, the meeting is not being live streamed quite at the moment. Just
Okay,
one
we'll wait
moment.
for that. Thank
Sorry,
you.
just a few more seconds. Okay, now the meeting is being streamlined. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk. Good evening and welcome to the November 10, 2025, 6 p.m. regular joint meeting of the Bell Garden City Council and successor agency to the Community Development Commission. The meeting will now come to order at 6:08 p.m. Members of the public may view and listen to the meeting live online through the city's website as noted on the agenda. If any of the members should have a conflict of interest, please announce any item you are recusing from due to a conflict of interest prior to the item being heard. We'll move into the invocation. Tonight's invocation will be given by Minister Daniel Anguiano, and the Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Cameron Vargas from Girl Scout Troop 2543.
Good evening, City Mayor. If we can please stand to our feet as we come before God. Heavenly Father, I just want to thank you, Lord, for allowing us to be here in this hour, Lord, for all these wonderful people, Lord, that you've granted us the opportunity, Lord, the gift of life in this day, Lord. And I just want to thank you, Father God, for the leaders of this wonderful city, Lord, for our mayor, for the council members, Lord, in every department, Lord, that helps to maintain this wonderful city, Father God. I pray for every resource, God, that is needed, Lord, I want for our city to continue, Father God, that no good resource may be lacking. Father, I pray for this wonderful city, Lord God, and that you, Lord God, may see over them, and that your righteousness and that your justice may guide them, Lord Father, for every project, for every matter that is to be discussed, Father. And I just bless them. I bless their families in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Face the flag. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may now be seated.
City Clerk, please call roll the members of the City Council and successor agency.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Members of the Council and Successor Agency, Chavez.
Present.
Councilwoman Guillen.
Present.
Councilwoman Sanchez.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem de la Rosa.
Present.
And Mayor Barcena.
Present. Thank you. We will now move to the presentations.
Thank you, Mayor Barcena. The first presentation that we have is a certificate of recognition for the Atención Plena group. If the group could please come up to the podium, this would be the appropriate time to do so.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. El grupo de Atención Plena, por favor, si pueden ir ahí donde está el micrófono. If you guys can please go by the microphone so that we can recognize you today. So this here is the certificate that we are giving Atención Plena. The Bell Garden City Council is honored to recognize Atención Plena on their second year anniversary, celebrating their outstanding commitment to mental health, wellness in our community. Congratulations on this milestone, and we look forward to many years of your valuable and meaningful contributions. You uplift our community. And now I would like to ask the members of Atención Plena if they have any words they want to share. Les quiero pedir si tienen algunas palabras que quieran compartir. Las personas del grupo, el líder del grupo, cualquier, estamos aquí para escucharlas.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Selva. Bueno, soy parte del grupo de Atención Plena. Muchas gracias por todo, por el espacio, por el tiempo que nos regalan en el espacio que nos prestan aquí en la ciudad y sobre todo eso, gracias. Le paso el tiempo a mis compañeras.
Hola, buenas noches. Mi nombre es María de Jesús Bárcena. Me da mucho gusto pertenecer al grupo y especialmente que se ha mantenido unido y adelante y especialmente dar las gracias al Consejo por su apoyo y la ayuda que se nos presta, por el espacio donde se nos presta para hacer estas sesiones. Gracias, gracias y que siga el grupo creciendo para bien de toda la comunidad. Thank you.
Hola, mi nombre es Gina Villela. Muchas gracias al Concilio por habernos permitido llegar a estos 2 años. Esperamos que sea más. Eh, Agradezco que se preocupen tanto por la atención plena que viene siendo parte de lo que es nuestra salud mental. Es muy necesario para nosotros estar en este proyecto por salud mental particularmente y porque ayudamos hacia la comunidad. Muchas gracias. Gracias a todos.
Mi nombre es María Verónica Sánchez Jiménez y yo soy una miembro del grupo de este equipo que se ha hecho desde hace 2, 3 años que estamos trabajando para la comunidad, dando servicio para que vean de otra manera lo que tiene que ver psicológicamente o mentalmente, que ayuda a relajar y a poner a las personas en un ambiente más pleno y claro. Y estamos tratando de transmitir diferentes formas para que ellos puedan encontrar, sin necesidad de ir a un psicólogo, puedan encontrar una calma plena después de que vienen de sus trabajos o que tienen algunas situaciones donde física, psicológica o mentalmente están recibiendo mucha presión. Y esto les ayuda a esas personas pues a que tengan una mejor vida y puedan procesar mejor sus relaciones en el día a día. Muchas gracias a todos por darnos la oportunidad de tener este grupo que no muchas ciudades ofrecen estos servicios. Gracias.
Bueno, gracias. Y ahora lo voy a abrir para mis colegas si tienen algún comentario. My colleagues, if you guys want to say a few words.
Muchas gracias por toda la programación y el esfuerzo que hacen para que Atención Plena siga dando estos recursos, ¿no? para nuestra gente, nuestra comunidad. Porque últimamente, este último año ha sido muy turbulento para muchas familias y creo que es importante encontrar ese elemento donde se puedan explorar, ¿no? esa psicología y a encontrar un poco de paz a través de los medios, de las prácticas que ustedes hacen. Y gracias a Marco atendí un par de sesiones y en realidad sí ayudan bastante. Y quería preguntarles cuántas veces al mes se reúnen y en qué local para que la gente sepa dónde encontrarlos.
Realmente nos reunimos 2 veces por mes. Igualmente por todo lo que hemos estado viviendo en estas últimas fechas, sí nos estamos moviendo de lugar y también por el clima. Como esto es de relajarnos, de estar en un tiempo más quietos, sí tratamos ahorita que ya se
This
hace
really
más
helps us
tranquila,
relax,
hacerlo dentro
be
de los
to be in a quiet place.
Entonces, pero lo dicho, somos 2 veces por mes los que lo reunimos.
We
Y a veces sí
get
tenemos que
together
cambiar
twice a
las
month,
fechas. Si hay algún
and
evento que coincide con la ciudad,
we are willing to
todo lo que
change
está
dates
pasando
if
alrededor,
anything
es cuando nos movemos de
conflicts
fechas.
with
Pero siempre todo
a city
eso
event or
allá en Fort
anything
Park
like that. But it's
y
always
dentro
at
del
Fort Park
auditorio o ahora ya
in the
con el parque
auditorium
acuático o fuera
or
en el parque.
at
Pero sí,
the
2 veces por
aquatic
mes y los
center
esperamos con mucho gusto.
outside in the park.
Gracias
But
y de
we're
nuevo felicidades.
very glad to have you anytime you want to come. Thank you.
Gracias por tener este grupo. Me ha tocado varias veces.
Thank you for having this group. Everything seems to happen at Veterans Park, but I live really near Fort Park, so it's very, very nice to know that you are this. This class is really nice. I've enjoyed every time that I've heard it. So thank you very much for providing this service to the city.
Igual de parte mía les quiero agradecer por esos servicios.
Same as my colleagues, I would like to thank you for the service, for the time that you dedicate to the community. Many of us, the last thing we think about is mental health. Well, we're thinking about work, feeding our families, having a roof over our heads, and people don't normally pay enough attention to their mental to their mental health. We see a lot of young people whose mental health is suffering due to social media, TV. So it is amazing that people in our community, our own neighbors, have decided to provide this service and teach these techniques. So thank you very much. You've been here 2 years. Hopefully it'll be another 2 and another 2 and another 2. And the same as my colleagues, thank you very much for providing this programming, and I hope to see you here again. Thank you for being there for 2 years. 2 years is a long time. From the point of view of voluntary groups, volunteer groups, a lot of times they end up falling apart because people don't have the time or the energy to continue working as a volunteer. But so it's very impressive to see that a volunteer group such as yourself has continued for 2 years. I know there are only 4 of you here, but there are at least 26 at each class. Jorge Chavez was asking me, why don't we invest in programs that we know that work? That, for example, there's mindfulness or sewing, or this is a community that needs help to get started and then pick up speed and keep going. This is an example of a group that has been able to survive and is doing an excellent job here in Bell Gardens. I want to thank you. I thank Elva, the coordinator. Yes, please. I supported this group going in person, setting up speakers, setting up microphones, everything for a year until Elva came. And then I was able to pass off that responsibility to her. But this is the work that you do is amazing. And it's more important than ever. We should have recognized you a year ago, but we were right in the heart of the raids and everything.
You guys are always helping when it comes to collaborations that Atención Plena does with other nonprofit organizations. You guys are always there to help and serve, and I appreciate all the effort. Also, city manager and my colleagues who have been there for the meditations. I know Jorge hasn't been there yet, but I'm gonna be bugging him so that he can go and do a meditation. And also Isabel, you're always invited. The doors are always open to all of you guys. So it's for everyone. So thank you. Felicidades otra vez. Y pues ahora vamos a tomarnos una foto aquí en medio. ¿Ya? Oh, yeah. Dijeron que no les gustaba. Ahí está.
No. Because I got shared.
Thank you, Mayor Barcena. The next certificate of recognition we have is for MRZ Barbershop and Beauty Salon. If Miriam Reyes and Lucas Zavaleta could please come up to the podium.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. We have here a certificate of recognition honoring MRZ Barbershop and Beauty Salon. The Bell Gardens City Council is honored to recognize MRZ Barbershop and Beauty Salon as a family business in our city. Over the past 3 years, you have built a loyal clientele and have become a valued part of our community. Thank you for your dedication, and we commend you on your success and wish you continued success for many, many years to come. So thank you so much. Now I want to see if you have any words that you'd like to share with us. Algunas palabras que quieren compartir con nosotros.
Muy buenas tardes. Somos Miriam Reyes y Lucas Zabaleta. Somos los dueños de MRC Beauty Salon and Barbershop. Muchísimas gracias al alcalde Marco Barcena y al
Thank you so much to Mayor Marco Barcena and the council members and the city of Bell Gardens for this honor. We are proud to be part of this city of Bell Gardens since December of 2022. My family and I are very thankful for all of the support that we have received here in the community. We cordially invite you to visit us next time you need a haircut, coloring, manicure, pedicure, eyelash extensions, hair extensions, facials. Our address is 7734 Eastern Avenue, Bell Gardens. Thank you very much. Good evening. My name is Lucas Zabaleta, and as my wife said, we are very happy and grateful to Marco Barcena and all of his team here in Bell Gardens for all of the support we have received, and hope to see you, have you visit us for a haircut or any service that you might think of at a barbershop or a beauty salon. We provide everything. Thank you very much.
Any comments from my colleagues?
Felicidades, Miriam, Lucas. Me hace falta un recorte de pelo, así que ahí nos veremos pronto.
Okay, I think I do need a haircut, so I'll see you soon. Thank you and congratulations. Congratulations for being here in the community for 2 years. I hope you're here many more years and hope to see you soon. Congratulations, bueno, first, it's very important to feel pretty. If you feel pretty, you can conquer the world. Congratulations on this recognition. Thank you for everything you've done for the city. As Mayor Pro Tem De La Rosa said, I think I also am in need of a haircut, maybe trim my beard. Well, the works. How about a facial? And I mean, manicure, yeah, eyelashes, massage, everything. A little nice warm towel. I think Jorge needs a Brazilian blowout. So your hair will look even nicer. You have nice hair. Go ahead. Thank you so much. I want to congratulate you because it is not easy to have a business, dedicate yourself to it, keep it going for years, and you have done everything you can here in Bell Gardens to do that. I have not visited you, I have to confess, but I am planning to. I used to be the one with the longest hair here, but not anymore. But I do need a haircut, and I will show up one of these days. Don't worry. Again, thank you very much. We will proceed to a souvenir photo, and we appreciate having you here in Bell Gardens.
Thanks again, Mayor Barcena. The third and final proclamation we have today is a Veterans Day proclamation. We have Mr. Jose Vargas from American Legion Post 465 here to receive the proclamation. You could please come to the podium. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Vargas, for being here today to receive this proclamation. Mr. Vargas is from the American Legion Post 465, and he's very civically engaged here in our community. So we want to thank you in addition for your service. We want to thank you for your involvement in our community. And I'd also like to mention that our city manager is also a veteran. So, you know, we have a deep appreciation for him as well. And here is a proclamation. Whereas Veterans Day has its origins in the November 11, 1918 armistice, which brought World War I to a conclusion, and whereas the Allied victory of World War I affirmed the strength of great nations acting together for high purposes, and whereas the people of the United States caused through their elected representatives the designating of November 11 as a federal legal holiday, which in 1954 became officially known thereafter as Veterans Day. And whereas Veterans Day continues to be celebrated and commemorated with solemn observances in honor of all Americans who have served their country in times of war and conflict. And whereas Veterans Day has become a significant part of our American heritage, as we recognize the millions of our citizens whose military service has had a profound effect on history, and whereas the courage, honor, sacrifice, and dedication which veterans of the United States Armed Forces have displayed in the cause of justice, freedom, and democracy are most worthy of recognition. And whereas we appreciate and honor all City of Bell Gardens residents and City of Bell Gardens employees that have served all branches of our military. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Marco Barcena, Mayor of the City of Bell Gardens, along with the Bell Gardens City Council, hereby call upon all citizens to commend America's veterans and observe Tuesday, November 11, 2025 as Veterans Day, and ask all citizens to honor those who have served to preserve our principles of justice, freedom, and democracy. proclaimed this 10th day of November 2025 and signed by me with the support of the entire City Council. So now, Mr. Vargas, you're welcome to share a few words if you'd like.
I want to say thank you to the mayor, city council. Thank you for your service, Mr. O'Kelly, for supporting the American Legion and all the veterans in our community. Just a real quick for everybody on YouTube land advertisement. We're at 7550 Eastern Avenue, across the street from the casino. The American Legion is not just a place where you could go hang out, have a beer, but there's a lot of veterans out there that don't want to go to the VA, don't want to go to a psychiatrist, don't want to go to a local vet center. Come on by. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about, and we'll make it happen. We got you. Come on home.
Thank you for that. And now I'm opening it up for my colleagues if anyone has any words.
Yes, I'd like to begin by first and foremost thanking you for your service. I know it's presented as Mr. Vargas, but I'm going to call you Jammer because that's what I've known you as, Jammer. And I'm extremely grateful, as we all are here on the council, for your service, for your dedication to the Legion, for representing all the veterans in this great city of Bell Gardens. For those that don't know, Jammer was acknowledged by our very own Assemblywoman this last Friday as veteran of the district, representing the city of Bell Gardens. Had the pleasure of attending in Santa Fe Springs, and we're all truly honored to have you here, be a resident of our city, service the American Legion post 465, and looking forward to seeing more collaborative efforts between our community and obviously our veterans and the Legion itself. So again, thank you, and I know that our American Legion is in good hands with you. Thank you so much, and happy Veterans Day. Thank you for your service.
3 words that resonate obviously is courage, sacrifice, and honor, because that is what all the veterans have done, have given of their time, many years in service for our country. And I know that the American Legion holds a special place here in Bell Gardens, and I'm glad that you're there and the rest of the folks there at the American Legion. So thank you so much for all your service and everything you've done for our community.
Thank you for your service, Mr. Vargas, and also thank you for spearheading post 465 and offering this safe space for the veterans. So again, thank you so much, and thank you for your service.
To reiterate, thank you for your service, Mr. Michael Kelly. Thank you for your service, and our men and women in blue. I know we have some, so thank you for your service.
Thank you, Jammer, for everything that you do here in the community and being part of the Legion. I know that you're passionate because that little moment you had to speak, you said, this is where we're located in Bell Gardens. Come on by to all the veterans that need someone to talk to. And that just really kind of drives it home for me because I'm the same way in regards to what I care about. I go out there and I'm like a commercial. I'm like, come to the meditation, come to the BG Arts event. And when I see somebody do that, I know automatically that they're very passionate. So anything I can do to be of help for the Legion or for other veterans in the community that might need our help, we're here for you. And I want to thank you for taking the time to come out here to receive this proclamation today. And to our city manager, we really appreciate you. And I like to think that your discipline and your commitment to the city is also rooted in your service to this country. So we deeply, deeply appreciate that. So thank you. And thank you for being here. We're going to go ahead and take a picture now. All right.
Here, if I may.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, so really quick, since we're on the topic of Veterans Day, and I know we're touching this proclamation, just one of the things that Post Commander 465 Jammer had mentioned was, I know that in some cities they have designated parking spaces for veterans, and they've had, obviously their American Legion has very little parking space, and one of the things that what he had mentioned was requesting on the curb, if we can, on the public street on Eastern and Priory, if we could designate at least a spot for a veteran, give or take, because it's right in front of the proximity to the Legion. That was something obviously I don't know if this is the appropriate time, but I figured that I mentioned it because that was something that he had brought forward. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. We'll definitely have the city manager take note of that and then circle back with you. Appreciate it. And in addition to that, before we move on from these recognitions, I just want to point out that we have one of our residents here, Mari Paz, who's also the coordinator of El Kiosquito. I just want to acknowledge her and also give direction for staff to place El Kiosquito on the next agenda for recognition, because their anniversary is coming up, their 2-year anniversary. And, she's here today because she's also part of Atención Plena. Unfortunately, she was busy and couldn't make it in time, but thank you for being here, Mari Paz. We appreciate you. And now we're moving on to item number 6. We will now move to public participation on items not listed on the agenda. Public participation is open. City Clerk, please announce the instructions for public participation.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Members of the public will now have an opportunity to speak on items not listed on the agenda. We didn't receive any public comment cards, and we don't have anyone joining virtually, and I didn't receive any written comments to distribute.
Thank you. If there's no objection by members of the City Council, I will close public participation for non-agenda items. City Clerk, please announce the instructions for public participation for items listed on the agenda.
Thank you, Mayor. Members of the public will now have an opportunity to speak on items listed on the agenda. Again, we didn't receive any public comment cards, didn't receive any written comments, and we don't have anyone joining virtually at the moment.
Thank you. If there's no objection by the members, I will close public participation. Does any member of the council have anything to report from the external committees?
Yes, I do have an update from ICA, Independent Cities Association. So at the last meeting this past Thursday, we received notice that the Court of Appeal ruled that Redondo Beach's certified housing element was not in compliance with the state law. So what they did was they relied on overlay zoning for residential uses in commercial and industrial parcels. And because of this decision, it could set a precedent that affects other cities that utilize the same zoning strategy. And as a result, an amicus letter of support was requested from ICA. And as of now, we're still waiting on more details, and a vote is still yet to be taken by the board members. So just wanted to update you guys on that.
Thank you so much, Vice Mayor. Any other council members have anything to report from their committees? Okay, then we'll move on to item number 9. City Manager, will you please give your report?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Barcena. This report's a little bit longer than normal. We've got some holidays coming up here. Just as always, want to mention on Thursdays at 6 p.m., we have our open art studio available at Veterans Park. On Fridays, we have the resident art and yard sale at Veterans Park from 11 to 3:30 p.m. And then twice a month, we have a farmer's market associated with that event as well. Just looking back a couple weeks, back on October 28th and October 29th, I think it was a Tuesday and a Wednesday, we opened up cooling centers due to the heat. So it got over 92 degrees, which is somewhat rare for October. Then on October 31st, we had our Dia de los Muertos and Halloween event. This year included a laser light show. It had been deferred from the 4th of July. So thanks to council for the support on that event. Thanks to Recreation, Community Services, Police Department, Public Works, Community Development, everybody for all the effort. City Clerk was there handing out candy as well. So everybody for all the effort in that event. And we had, I think, the normal size turnout that we get for the Halloween event being on a Friday. Also, we did have a beer garden this time around. So I see Jammers back there. So the American Legion had a beer garden there as well. So very successful event. November 2nd was daylight savings time. And as I mentioned, sometimes those things go by, you change your clock, an hour ahead, hour behind, but it does make a difference in the city of Bell Gardens with all of the pedestrian traffic that we have. If it's lighter earlier in the morning, it's less likely that a student that might have a zero period has to deal with traffic and vehicles that might not otherwise see them, and even just vehicles traveling around the city. So thankful for that extra light in the morning to help with that impact. November 4th was Election Day. There was a voting center over at Ford Park. There was also a drop-off ballot location here at the library. At the last council meeting, the council by majority of voted to support Prop 50, and Prop 50 was approved by the voters as part of that November 4th election. November 5th, the police department held a neighborhood watch meeting at the Paseo del Rio neighborhood, which is an interesting neighborhood in that there are some houses contained in the city of Commerce and some in the city of Bell Gardens. So the police department also invited the sheriff's department that services the Commerce side of things. And I think if you were asked the chief, it sounded like the residents on the city of Bell Gardens side were more happy and pleased with the service they received than the residents on the Commerce side. No offense to the sheriff's department. And then thank you to our police department on that comment. On November 6th, last Thursday, Park West Bicycle Hotel and Casino held the first of these events that I'm aware of, a legislative mixer event at the Bicycle Casino. So most of the council members were able to attend and sort of see council members from other cities that have card rooms, and also hear about the ongoing efforts that these privately held card rooms are working on regarding the Attorney General of the state of California, potential rules and regulations that the AG may be putting out there. November 7th, we had a free farmers market, and along with the art and yard sale. Just looking at some of the stats on the free farmers market, so we saw about a 50 to 75% increase in the number of people that came to get food, presumably from the concern of the government shutdown and with CalFresh benefits maybe being in peril at that time. Maybe still the same, we would attribute it to that. And we anticipate that, have been asking for additional food resources from Support and Feed. So thankful they came through, and thankful more people came out and got some free food. On Saturday, November 8th, so this Saturday, we had a fishing derby at 8 a.m. There's always a lot of behind the scenes things that happen and challenges that come up. And I just want to thank staff from Public Works, Recreation, Community Services, to make sure that event went off, make sure that there were fish to go into that pond so that people could attend that derby, and the event went on as planned. Also, we had a tenants' rights workshop that was with Stay Housed LA, our community family services center, that was also on November 8th that I hear was well attended as well. Today we've got our council meeting. Tomorrow is Veterans Day. And November 15th, Saturday, we've got a pet vaccine clinic at Veterans Park from 1 to 3 p.m. On November 17th, we've got a workshop at Veterans Park at 6 p.m. To establish and repair credit. So if anybody has issues, this is part of our financial literacy program. On Friday, November 21st, we've got our next free farmers market. So that's coming up in about 2.5 weeks. November 27th is Thanksgiving. And then just kind of looking ahead, December 3rd will be our tree lighting ceremony at Veterans Park. And then we'll have our next free farmers market December 5th. I want to mention a couple items on tonight's consent calendar that are of interest, I think, to residents, businesses, and stakeholders of Bell Gardens. We've got a 3-year extension for our website provider, which is Granicus, in agreement with LA County for Police Sheriff Academy training services, which is relatively low cost. A second reading of the extension of the city's supplemental speed survey for the streets to ensure that the streets are safe and that the police can enforce speeding activities. A required upgrade in the GIS software data mapping services system that our police department uses, from ArcMaps to ArcGIS Pro. An amendment with our Sportsfield Landscape Maintenance Company to ensure that the new landscaping that's at the Aquatic Center is appropriately maintained. We also have in this item repairs to the police department parking lot gate that was damaged in an interesting incident with a DUI driver crashed into the gate and then attempted to enter the police department through some level of force, significant cost in the damage to the gate. We will be attempting to recover the cost to repair that gate and the motor from any insurance that the DUI driver may have. And we also have an amendment to the agreement with the Metropolitan Water District and the Central Basin for additional time for the monitoring of the data at the cistern project. So the cistern project's got a lot of water that comes through during rainy periods, comes into the cistern. Once it hits the full point, it shuts the valve off, water keeps going, and then that water basically percolates back into the water basin. And so there are monitoring equipment and data involved in that. So this extends the time. That's a $500,000 grant for that purpose. I'll briefly mention just an approval to issue bids for Ford Park playground and restroom improvements. I mention this almost every council meeting. We've improved so many playgrounds in the city of Bell Gardens, Hannon Park, Gallant Park, Neighborhood Youth Center. We're in the process of Veterans Park. We're in the process of Marlowe Park, Veterans Park, further improvements there, and Ford Park as well. And the final thing I want to mention is just something that we've just been made aware of. We'll have to do some social media and put some information out there. The sanitation district, which manages and maintains all of the sewers within the city of Bell Gardens, they've got emergency repairs that they have to make to a major sewer line that comes that's on the northbound side of Eastern, from north of the city all the way down to Lubec. So right around where El Pescador is at. They're going to be starting that here within the next week or two, and it's going to be probably an 8 to 12 week process, not dissimilar to the sewer work that was done right out here in front of City Hall about 2 years ago. So we'll put some social media out, put the information out there, and then do everything we can do in working with them to mitigate the disruption to traffic. But that's obviously going to go into holiday time, and the priority there is to ensure that that sewer line just doesn't fail completely. They'll have a catastrophe there, and then also to protect the safety of the people that are working out there and the safety of the drivers as well. So there will be some significant impacts. And again, it's emergency repairs that have just been identified that we were just made aware of. So with that, I'll turn it over to you, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager, for your report. We will now move to the consent calendar. Does any member of the City Council wish to pull an item for separate discussion? Okay. I am going to be pulling item number 10.12, and that's only for informational purposes. I think it's just such a positive project that we are about to make some progress on that I want to, talk about it a little bit. But let me go ahead and ask for a motion to approve items 10.1 to 10.11.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Chavez and a second by Councilmember Sanchez. Can I have a roll call, please?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Members of the Council and Successor Agency Chavez.
Aye.
Councilwoman Guillen.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sanchez.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem de la Rosa.
Yes.
And Mayor Barcena.
Yes, thank you.
Motion passes 5-0.
And Mayor Barcena, if it's okay if I just speak to this item, thank you for the opportunity to provide some more information. Staff's always happy and very proud to be working on projects like this playground equipment because the useful life's in the 10 to 15 year range, and it's noticeable when there's new equipment to the youngest people in the community, to their parents, their caretakers, their grandparents. It's also noticeable when it's been 15, 20 years since that equipment has been serviced or has been replaced. It becomes dangerous. And again, it impacts from the youngest residents or visitors all the way to the oldest and the caretakers in that. So I'll turn it over to our Public Works Director, Bernie Iniguez, to give a little more detail about this project and timeline and things of that nature. Thank you, Mayor. Thanks, Bernie.
Thank you, Mr. O'Kelly. Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the council. I'll go ahead and start with a little bit of background. In June of 2022, the city contracted with RGM Design Group for the design of the Ford Park playground and restroom improvements, which I'll refer to as the project during this presentation. In August of 2023, the city submitted a competitive grant application to the LA County Regional Park and Open Space District for the project. The scope of the project is as follows. It includes the demolition of the restroom and sunshine building, the demolition of the playground equipment, the installation of a prefabricated restroom facility, installation of rubberized playground surfacing, installation of new playground equipment, a drinking fountain, picnic table and benches, trash receptacles, irrigation, and landscape. And so this is the extent of the project. In October of 2023, the city was awarded $1,046,902 in competitive Measure A funds. This was from LA County Parks. In all, the table before you shows the project budget. It includes the competitive grant that I've mentioned. It also includes $444,414 in our annual allocation Measure A grant funds. It includes $204,078 of a Prop 68 grant through their per capita grant program. And it also includes $300,000 of general funds. In all, for the entire project, we have a little under $2 million. $84,363 have been expended, and this has been on the demolition of the existing structures and as well as the lead and asbestos testing that we conducted. So in all, we have a balance of $1,911,031 for the construction of the improvements. In regard to the design elements, it's a little tough to discern here, but on the left, you see the image of the rubberized playground surfacing, and it emulates the water along with grass features and some catfish. Over the weekend, there were some catfish caught, so that was the design theme for the surfacing of this playground. And to the right, you see the layout for the playground. So this next slide shows the conceptual for the playground equipment that we intend to procure, along again with the layout of the playground. And here we see the prefabricated restroom building that will be part of this project. In regard to the schedule, before you tonight is the authorization to bid. Should it be approved, we would then publish on November 13th. A mandatory pre-bid meeting would be held on December 4th. The request for information deadline, in other words, the deadline to ask any bidder questions, would be on December 10th. The bid opening is slated for December 17th. We would then have an anticipated award on January 12th, 2026. A pre-construction meeting would be held in January. Construction would then be slated to begin in the fall of 2026. The reason being is because the prefab restroom facility carries anywhere from an 8 to 11 month lead time. And then completion of the project would be slated for the winter of 2026.
Bernie, before you move forward, just, I don't know if the council is going to ask right now, but just curiously, would there be any possibility if the lead time on the restroom is as far out as it is, since you guys have done a pretty good job or really good job on the concrete work, would there be a possibility that the playground would be able to open prior to, even if it had to be shut down again to put the bathroom in? Is that a possibility?
Yes, that's a possibility. So means and methods would be on the contractor, but we would work with them to schedule the procurement of the playground. The playground, that's supposed to an 8-month lead time. It's only about a 3-month lead time. So we can definitely make that happen as part of the schedule. It is staff's recommendation that the city council approve the plans and specs for the project, authorize staff to solicit competitive bids and publish the notice inviting sealed bids, and find that the project is categorically exempt from CEQA. That concludes my brief presentation, and I will be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Director. Any questions or comments from my colleagues?
Yes, I just want to say thank you. This was one of the first projects that I brought to your attention when I got on council. Talking about the Sunshine building was really important to me, and making sure that we're equitable for both parks. I'm obviously going to favor Ford Park because that's where I grew up. That's where I live nearby. And every single time I saw an improvement at Veterans Park, I would always say, what about Ford Park, right? So finally seeing this come to light, I just want to thank you guys so much for making it a reality. And I'm so excited to see what the final project's going to look like.
Thank you, council member. Any other remarks or questions?
I love to see what's happening in Fort Park. I remember just about a year ago, well, close to two actually. There was an installation of new LED lights, for the park, and it looks, beautiful even at night. And just recently with the aquatic center, and now this, coming up, I'm just very excited overall for what's about to happen for Fort Park. So thank you so much to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Any other questions or comments? I just want to say thank you to our director. I think his track record in the last few months has been excellent. I mean, I want to say not just months, maybe years, especially with the aquatic center, right? We got that thing built in about a year and a half. That was very impressive. We also had the dog park that was whipped together pretty quickly, and then also the workout equipment, the exercise machines, right? So I'm looking at the timeline here, and I'm very positive about it. I'm seeing that it will be ready in 2026. And I just want to point out that, we continue to invest in our community even beyond the pool, right? The pool is open, it's working now, but this council is focused on making sure that we keep that momentum going. And with this park, $2 million going into this new recreational feature, I'm just very happy with all the work that staff is doing, from the city manager down to our directors and all the way down to recreation leaders and part-time workers. So thank you guys for all the work. Really, really appreciate that. And thank you for taking the time to discuss this item. So can I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
And I'll go ahead and second that. Can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, thank you. Mayor, members of the council and successor agency, Chavez.
Aye.
Councilwoman Guillen.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sanchez.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem de la Rosa.
Yes.
And Mayor Barcena.
Yes,
Motion passes by vote.
thank you. And now we're moving on to discussion items. City manager, will you please announce discussion items number 11.1?
Thank you, Mayor Barcena. This item is the local commission appointment list, so it's staff's recommendation that the council review the appointments list and by motion remove commissioners or make appointments to any posted vacancies. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Do we have any changes from the council? No. Okay, seeing that there aren't any changes, we will go ahead and move on to our next item. Mr. City Manager, will you please announce discussion item number 11.2?
Yes, thanks again, Mayor Barcena. This item was an item that was directed from you as the mayor at the last council meeting for the council to consider a resolution approving the creation of an ad hoc committee for loosely described as marketing, promotions, and civic engagement. We have a presentation here. Hyla Soto, assistant to the city manager, will give a presentation to talk about some of the things we currently do, and then to make a recommendation regarding creating the ad hoc and appointing council members and providing further direction or receiving and filing the item. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members. Thank you, City Manager. So I'll just briefly go over this. No? Okay. I'll briefly go over this presentation and just some quick background information. As mentioned, at the last council meeting on October 27th, the Mayor Barcena directed staff to place this item on the agenda for the possible formation of the ad hoc committee. And the ad hoc committee purpose is for a temporary advisory bodies formed to gain insight, gather information, and address a specific goal or objective. The proposed committee would consist of 2 council members and a designated city staff. So I'll just for simplicity, I'll just kind of go over quickly some of the current engagement and marketing efforts that city staff partakes on a daily basis, going from social media, being Instagram, Facebook, X, YouTube, including this city council meeting that's being live streamed both on YouTube, on the website, as well as on Facebook and LinkedIn, which the city recently claimed this account. The other marketing efforts also through our website, the city app, Bell Gardens Connect, through billboard advertisements along the 710 freeway, print media such as flyers, newsletters, door hangers, letters, banners that are printed in-house by recreation staff that are displayed at key intersections in the city, promoting upcoming events. There's also community outreach at staff. There are booths at large major city events, as well as neighborhood watch meetings, door-to-door outreach, partnerships, and also through professional development, including participation in the California Association of Public Information Officials. And, through all these efforts, it's truly a collaborative effort through all staff from all departments, all kind of engaging and using their creative freedom to kind of produce this content, have it published through the different medias. But we still have to operate within certain constraints, including making sure we're not violating Brown Act laws, as well as violating any intellectual property laws such as copyrighted music, content. So those are some of the restrictions that, as much as we want to be creative on some of the content, sometimes we have to be kind of get contained there. So just quickly, just for time's sake, so I'll just only go over the Instagram comparison by the city for followers. So we just produce a quick table just showing our neighboring cities and what their Instagram accounts are. And then we just did a ratio for, based on population, what the followers per capita is. So you'll just kind of quickly see that Bell Gardens has 2.8 followers per capita with for 2020 census population of 39,501. So our largest neighbor, which is the city of Downey, with 114,355, their followers per capita is at 2.5. And our smallest population neighbor, the city of Commerce, which has 12,378 residents, with the followers per capita at 5.1. And then just doing another quick comparison amongst all the cities in around the area for frequency posting. So I just the staff report contains information that was for content that was produced from the end of October 30th through November 5th. So we just use kind of about a week time frame just to see how many postings were put on Instagram. And Bell Gardens during that time frame had 24 posts with a posting frequency of posts per day of about 3. Where if you look at the bottom all the way for the city of Southgate, they had 3 posts, but the posting frequency was 0. And somewhere in between, I guess the second most active besides this, Bell Gardens was the city of Downey with 16 posts, but their posting frequency was just 2. I'll just quickly just go over some Instagram stats where the average established date for the Instagram account for the cities was January 2015. So they all varied in age and maturity level for Instagram accounts. The city of Bell Gardens established their account in June 2019. So approximately 4.5 years after the average establishment date of January 2015. So we are the youngest of the Instagram account for all the surrounding cities. And again, for the reporting post period of October 30th to November 5th, the surrounding cities shared 10.33 posts with an average posting frequency of 1.33 posts. And again, Bell Gardens had the highest post count with 24 posts and the highest posting frequency of 3 posts per day during this time period. So in conclusion,
Hi, Liz, before you move on to conclusion, just for the council's perspective, these aren't really stats that we just grabbed because of the request for the ad hoc. So Hylas and also our senior analyst, Jen Pineda, through some other software that we use called Hootsuite, we're already tracking some of this data against some of the comparative cities, just to get an idea of what we've been doing. So they had that set up, so it's pretty easy to grab this data to give you an idea of where we are and how we look compared to some of the neighbors around here. So thanks to Hylas and Jen for already doing that kind of behind the scenes.
and maybe just to add to that, in posting frequency could depend on what's active, how many activities were going on throughout the city, how many meetings we have, to events that are scheduled, or anything active from like a natural disaster. So early in the year, like in January during the Santa Ana winds and fires. So there was a lot of post activities for fire and a few other items. And then during June, we shifted over to just information about the ice raids. So it all just depends on what's going on in the news. And then when there's weather events like rain, then we'll kind of shift over to those type of posts. So the frequency might change on a week by week basis. So in conclusion, the creation of an ad hoc committee on marketing, promotions, and civic engagement may provide guidance and direct the city's current civic engagement and marketing efforts, as well as lead future activities. It's staff's recommendation that the city council adopt the attached resolution approving an ad hoc committee to address marketing, promotions, and civic engagement efforts, and appoint 2 city council members, or provide further direction or receive and file. This concludes the presentation, and staff is here to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Any discussion from my colleagues? Right now will be the time.
Just want to give Hylas a shout out for all the great work that's been done digitally on the social media platforms. I mean, the numbers don't lie. The comparatively to other cities, we do stand out quite a bit. And I'm pretty excited to explore options with the ad hoc committee, exploring other avenues to complement the digital aspect of the current efforts. But just wanted to acknowledge that, and thank you for all the hard work. And
Definitely, yes, I want to echo that as well, just to see that we're the youngest account around, but yet we're able to post as much as we do and just kind of generate engagement. And I know sometimes people specifically go to social media to look at different posts. So thank you for creating all that.
I want to thank Hylas. He's like the social media guru here. I've seen a lot of his good times and bad times, mostly good times, really. I mean, I can't even think of a bad time, but thank you, Hylas, for always finding a creative way to put Bell Gardens on the virtual map. I think that's a good way to illustrate it, and you definitely have done a lot for the social media presence of the city. So we want to just continue to do that. We want to put our brains together. I know that Vice Mayor here has a background in marketing. I also have a background in marketing from the University of California, Berkeley, all the way to the Recreation Department. I actually got one of the awards, a Capio Award for the city back when I was a administrative specialist. So I'm very, very passionate about this. So I wanna make sure that I use that passion and I turn it into something productive with the support of my colleagues. Maybe we can do that. But thank you for providing those stats. I think that kind of helps put things in perspective, and definitely, very, very excited to dig into this a little bit. And again, I wanna really emphasize that the reason why I'm asking for this is not so much that we're doing bad or anything negative. It's more just because I see a lot of potential to kind of get ahead of the game. some of the numbers there show that we're healthy, we're doing good, but I think we can also maybe set some goals so that we can accelerate our rate of growth and exposure. And again, you guys are doing a phenomenal job. I'm excited about the new staff that came in. As you guys remember, we used to have someone that handled a lot of the media production, the photography, and all that stuff. Ray Corona, he worked here for many years, and we miss him, but he's gone, right? And we have a new person, and that person shows so much potential. We've seen some awesome content come out for the pool, where recreation leaders are speaking directly to the public, which is something that I've always, asked to look for, to maybe try to get our staff more involved and outward facing with the public. So those are the kinds of ideas that I'm looking forward to exploring with this ad hoc. So unless anyone else has anything that they'd like to add, I would like to provide direction, adopt the attached resolution. Yes, go ahead.
Mayor, if you could make your motion with the nomination of the two ad hoc members and then the motion to approve the resolution.
Thank you. And I guess I'll just go ahead and nominate Vice Mayor De La Rosa and myself for the ad hoc. Do we need
Can we get
another
a second on
nomination?
that? Let's vote on that first and then
Okay,
the resolution.
we'll vote on that first. Okay, so that's a motion to nominate myself and Vice Mayor De La Rosa for the ad hoc committee. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Can I have a roll call?
Thank you, members of the council and successor agency Chavez.
Aye.
Councilwoman Guillen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sanchez,
Yeah.
Mayor Pro Tem De La Rosa,
Yes.
and Mayor Barsana.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
And now we may have the motion to adopt the resolution.
Okay, can I have a motion to adopt the resolution?
So I move.
A second.
Okay, we have a first and a second. Can I have a roll call, please?
Yes, thank you. Members of the council and successor agency Chavez,
Aye.
Councilwoman Guillen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sanchez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem De La Rosa,
Yes.
and Mayor Barsana.
Yes,
Motion passes 5-0.
thank you. And now, City Manager, will you please announce discussion item number 11.3?
Yes, thanks again, Mayor Barsana. This item is the first quarter general fund revenue update for the city council. And this has been an item that we've discussed over the last 9 months or so with different challenges that we've had from revenue sources, whether that be from really the ones that we focused on a lot are on the card room because of the size, and then also on the potential cannabis revenue and transfer of such money to the general fund to help cover operations and that. So I'll turn it over to our Director of Administrative and Financial Services, Manuel Carrillo. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council, this evening I will be providing a general fund revenue update for the first quarter period of July to September for the current fiscal year 25-26. On June 9th of this year, the city adopted the fiscal year 25-26 general fund budget. Balanced general fund budget was adopted with both revenues and expenditures projected at $50,060,167. As part of the city's ongoing review process, revenues are closely monitored on a regular basis, and any operational changes and or trends are closely tracked, thus allowing for the recording and projection of any material changes to the city's overall adopted revenue and subsequent performance. On this slide, we see the projected general fund revenue adjustments factoring in the first quarter's performance and its subsequent projections based on the performance for the period of July through September. As we can see, based on the first quarter figures, we are projecting general fund revenues to come in at $48,354,858 as of June 30th of 2026. Now, this is approximately 1.7 under the original adopted amount. The primary reason for this is the projected adjustments and reductions in forecasted bicycle club fees, which we'll cover in greater detail in the next slide, as well as reductions in the projected operating transfers associated with the cannabis operations, which we will also cover in further detail on another slide. Furthermore, as we see projected increases to the categories of motor vehicles in lieu and property taxes secured, these are confirmed adjustments for fiscal year 25-26 received from HDL, which closely monitors tax collection performance and thus provides the identified adjustments as part of their quarterly report to the city. Overall, we are projecting a net reduction of approximately 1.7 million in general fund revenue at June 30th of 2026. This slide provides a comparative analysis between the actual card room revenues received during the prior year 25-26 and the first quarter actuals for the current 25-26 fiscal year. The projections for the remaining 9 months of the fiscal year were done so by taking the first quarter average, which came out to about 1,448,000, and applying this, resulting in projected card room revenue of approximately 17.3 million at June 30th, 2026. This is approximately 1.6 below the original adopted 19 million amount.
And Manuel, before you move off of this slide, so what we're constantly looking at the card room revenues here and seeing when they come up, when they come down. And some things we've noticed, obviously, I guess they become obvious when they're doing construction work. It does have somewhat of an impact. So if you look in September, they're doing a lot of work in the parking lot, in the guest parking lot. So they're putting in steel poles. They know that they're going to take a bit of a hit on the revenue. The idea is long-term growth. The purpose of the poles is to then put solar panels on top of the poles. That helps bring their utility costs down, helps from an environmental perspective because it keeps the asphalt from getting as hot as it otherwise would. But more importantly, from a revenue perspective, they would expect, and it would make sense that they would see increase in revenue in the summer months when you have other competing privately held card rooms nearby. You've got parking lots that are directly in the sun versus parking lots that are covered by solar panels. The idea is to market those and to get people to come over in the summertime, or if there's rainy weather, things of that nature, and you want a little bit of cover from the rain. So you'll see some of those investments, there's a cost to those, and that's what we would attribute, and they would attribute the September actual numbers to. And then as Manuel said, just to make it clear, what we've kind of done here is to say, let's take an average of the first quarters, July, August, and September, take an average and then apply that going forward as a better average number than what we had when we put the budget together almost 5 months ago. So we think that's a more reasonable number. And then we watch this every month. As soon as the numbers come in, we readjust. So thanks, Manuel, just for the stop on that.
Thank you, Mr. O'Kelly. So this slide provides an updated cannabis revenue projection and subsequent operating transfer into the general fund for 25-26. The following is based on actuals received through June 30th, 25 last year, and the report as of today, as well as projections moving forward to June 30th of 26. Now, as we can see here, the cannabis fund balance as of June 30th, 25 is 400,000. The estimated revenue fund initial revenue payments of 100,000 per provider would reach about 900,000 as of June 30th of 26. And the estimated community benefits operating fees are projected to be about $1 million as of June 30th of 26. Now, the projected fund balance as of June 30th, 26 is approximately 2.3 million. Just for comparative purposes, as part of the original adopted budget, we estimated it to come in at about 3.25 million. Now, of that 2.3, 80% or about 1,840,000 would be transferred to the general fund for aquatic/recreational programming. The original projected budgeted transfer amount was estimated to be at about 2.6 million. Now, as of June 30th of 26, the estimated cannabis fund would be about 460,000. Originally, we had projected the adopted to be about 650. And overall, this would result in a projected net reduction of about 760,000 in operating transfers in from the original adopted amount.
Manuel, could you go back to that one more time? Sorry.
Of course, no problem.
Just to make it, just so the council understands, why would there be a reduction in what we're projecting is revenue. So when the budget was put together, we had 7 probable development agreements. We're down to 6. One of them fell out. So they didn't pay their initial 100,000, obviously, because they didn't sign their DA. And they aren't going to be around January 1st to pay $100,000 because their DA lapsed and they walked away from it. The timeline ended. So there's 200,000 there. They're also not going to be operating somewhere in the early part of 2026 because they never got a development agreement. So that's one of the major reasons for it. And then secondarily, as we look through at the development agreements that we have in place, you know, we have a better idea of, based on permits and inspections, when these operations will be up and running. So we have one operation that started about 7 to 10 days ago. That was ahead of schedule. Our budget had assumed everybody would be open to some degree approximately in the month of January. So there's one missing. That's some lost revenue. There's one that opened earlier that hopefully will generate some revenues to cover the fact that there are others that have development agreements that aren't, one in particular that's not likely to open at all during the fiscal year. You know, and we're still anticipating all 6 of them will pay the $100,000 community benefit payment that's due in January. So really just from 7 down to 6, and then out of those 6, one opening earlier than projected and several others looking to open either not in the fiscal year at all or later than projected. So these are, if you look at the 2 columns, really the number that we were looking for from a transfer to the general fund. It's the second purple line was 2.6 million. We think the actual that would be transferred at that 80% would be 1.8 million. It would be the remaining fund balance of 460,000 is really for the council to decide what the council wants to do. So this is the card room revenue that we showed you, and this revenue are the 2 major revenue sources that have the biggest impact and the most potential volatility. So those are the ones that we focus on. Sales tax is pretty consistent, property tax is consistent, vehicle license fees. And luckily we've seen some positives on the vehicle license fee and on the property tax, essentially offsetting any negatives from cannabis. I think our vehicle license fee is expected to come in 600 some thousand more. Our property tax, 100 some thousand more. So generally offsetting some of the weakness here that we'll hope to pick up in the next fiscal year when more of these locations are open. So then that really leaves the card room, you know, projected shortfall if we want to be realistic about our revenues to deal with. So Manuel, go back into some more information, but thanks, Council.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. So our next slide here just provides a brief overview of some of the legal implications of SB 549. As you recall, in September of 2024, SB 549 was signed into law, allowing tribes to sue private card rooms to stop the play of certain table games. Tribes did file the suit on January 2nd of this year. And actually in this October, the Superior Court dismissed the lawsuit itself. The court ruled that the federal laws governing Indian gaming preempted or overrid state level lawsuits authorized by SB 549, essentially establishing that it's a determination belonging to at a federal level. Finally, tribes may appeal the court's decision to the state's Court of Appeals.
And just to point out, when the Senate bill was signed and the tribes were allowed to file, you could see they filed the day they were allowed to file, January 2nd. January 1st was a holiday. The lawsuit was dismissed in October. It's early November, and there has not been an appeal filed at this time. So I think the presumption, at least on our part, would be that, you know, some surprise that an appeal wasn't filed almost automatically, the same way they were ready with SB 549. So a little bit of a roller coaster with this one, but to a positive end as of now.
Thank you, Mr. O'Kelly. And here we have an overview of some of the proposed regulatory changes by the Attorney General's office. Now, there are proposed changes to what are referred to as third-party proposition player services, or PPPSS. And some of the changes that are proposed are a rotation every 40 minutes, as well as other changes to the structure of the games, changes to blackjack-style games. Now, if implemented, it would result in significant slowdown of the pace of the games, and our Cardroom JPI is working with card rooms, consultants, and industry groups to oppose the proposed regulations.
And so, Manuel, I think just for the council's benefit, I know you guys have heard this a lot, this is a lot of what the tribal lawsuit would have done. So the tribal lawsuit's off on the side for the moment, and then the Attorney General potential rule changes would effectively do what the tribal lawsuit was seeking to do, which would impact the card room. So this is now the focus shifts from prior to SB 549, this was the focus. Then SB 549, that became the focus. To get that to not happen, it happened, and the focus was on defending that. And then now it's right back to the item that was of concern 3 to 5 years prior to SB 549. So it's a constant, a constant effort out there on part of the card rooms as part of the communities that would be negatively impacted by these activities and by these potential changes. So it's sort of a never-ending process, and there's a lot of cost on the side of the card room industry.
Thank you, Mr. Gower. And finally, as it pertains to the next steps moving forward, staff recommends the following. Continue to closely monitor card room revenue, continue to work through the card room JPA, develop contingencies to address any long-term reductions in card room revenues, continue to develop additional revenue opportunities, consideration of the 1/4% sales tax measure on the November 26th ballot, which would potentially bring in an estimated 1.3 million in revenue per year. Retail cannabis, as Mr. O'Kelly indicated, there are currently 6 development agreements signed. 1 provider is fully operational as of the end of October last month. The potential sale of the water system, an RFP in this month, November of 25, as well as a general fee study, which is expected to be at the beginning of 2026.
And Manuel, if you keep on this slide, so these are items that we've brought to the council's attention in, I think as far back as probably January, February into March, April time as part of the budget creation, the workshops, the budget adoption. And so these are items that are currently moving, as Manuel said. So there will be an item that comes to the council here in the next 60 to 90 days for the 0.25% sales tax. The argument there is if the city doesn't take that to the voters and the voters approve it, it could be taken up by another government agency. The second part, retail cannabis, we're just continuing to work. That's a new industry for the city, so we're continuing to work to get that industry up and running and then monitor the potential sale of the city water system. So we have a lot going on with the water system. It's a multi-year process to put out a request for bids, bring the results to the council. The council likes what the council sees, take it to the voters. Voters approve or deny it. If they deny it, that's the end of it. If they approve it, it would go through the California Public Utility Commission. So this would be probably about a 3-year process before there were actually a check written to buy the water system and take over operations. But these are the things that the city council, at least in the time that I've been here, and this current city council have directed staff to do as a means of making sure that we've diversified the revenue sources as much away from just card room revenue as possible. I think we've got it down from 55-60% of the general fund revenue down to about 45 to 46% of general fund revenue.
Low to mid 40s, yes, that's correct.
And that number would come down a bit as well on a percentage basis with these items here. And then the next part that we didn't put a bullet point that we could have would be our fund balance. So the point of a city or a government agency that has a single significant source of revenue, such as a card room or like in Anaheim with a Disneyland and a Honda Center, or like Buena Park with a Knott's Berry Farm, or Santa Clarita Valencia with a Six Flags, is you want to have a higher fund balance as a percentage of your revenues than other cities that don't have those large sources. It's naturally more volatile. It's accepted as that it's more volatile. So when we show that it looks like we'll have a deficit of about 1.7 million as of now for the whole fiscal year, it's not as of like we have a $1.7 million deficit for this quarter. That's our projection for the whole fiscal year. So about $150,000 a month on average. We'll watch that number closely. And then also on the expenditure side of things, we're always watching on the expenditure side. So we would expect to cut some of that down by just not spending the full budget that we have allocated. But obviously, if we end the year with a $1.7 million deficit, it would primarily be attributed to the card room. And that wouldn't be something that would be completely unexpected for a city that has 45% of its revenue coming from one source. And our fund balance, even after paying off the aquatic center construction, is still about 35% of our general fund budget, which is higher than what most cities would have, and the purpose is to cover some of this volatility. So if you listen to some other cities that are nearby or around us, there is some financial weakness that's out there. Some cities that touch us, that are larger cities than us, that you would be surprised have some issues. If their fund balance is not as large as ours is relative to the size of our budget, you would maybe start doing things like declaring fiscal emergencies or start cutting things. But the point of having that fund balance is it gives us a cushion to not have to overreact and to cut positions prematurely. It allows us to really sit back and watch things unfold and try to take as much action as we can to maybe not eliminate the whole shortfall, but mitigate a significant portion of it. So we'll continue to keep reporting back to the council. We're already 5.5 weeks into the next quarter. So this goes through September 30th, and we already know what October and November are looking like, and this seems to be a pretty good projection as of now.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. That does conclude our presentation for this evening. I am available to answer any questions that council might have.
Anyone have any questions, comments?
Yes, I have a question. I know that currently right now we have 60 signed, and then we're expecting those 6 cannabis vendors to deposit another 100,000 come January. What is the penalty if they don't, and what's the follow through for that?
So I'm going to look to our community development director. He wasn't here when most of these development agreements were signed. So as I recall, if the community benefit payment is not made, I believe is subject to pretty quick revocation of the development agreement. But I'll turn it over to the director to see if he recalls the specific numbers.
Yes, thank you, City Manager, and good evening, Council and community. That is correct. So if they don't pay their public benefit, we will have to look into the revocation of their CUP and their development agreement. Primarily their development agreement. That's where the document has the stipulation about the benefit payment. Obviously, some of the properties, the applicants haven't started. They are, like Mr. O'Callaghan said, one of them seems to be lagging behind the rest compared to the other ones. But we do believe they would start this fiscal year based on where they're at in the different stages of development and their permitted process. So.
Any other questions, comments?
In the report, it was mentioned the potential sale of the water system. So we get an idea, approximately how much would the current water system be valued at?
Mayor Pro Tem, so I'll answer it sort of broadly. That should answer the question. So if we look to the city of Montebello sold a water system that was about 10 or 15% smaller than our water system. They sold it for $59.5 $15.9 million. Plus, they also had an agreement for 10 years worth of water rights. The city of Bellflower sold a water system that was about 10% smaller than our water system and sold for approximately $17 million. So we would expect Bellflower was 2 or 3 years ago. Montebello was about 5 years ago. We would expect, just with inflation and the fact that our water rates have risen, and we've done some work to the water system, we would be looking at least somewhere in the $17 million range. We'd get a better idea once the proposals would come in, but that would be offset against money that the water fund and the water system already owes the general fund, which is around $9 million or so. So that would leave free about another $8 or $9 million. So I think somebody were to say 16 to 19 million is probably a good range for the sale of a water system.
Thank you.
Unless there are any other questions?
No questions on mine. Thank you.
No questions, okay. In that case, let me go ahead and receive and file. Yeah, do we have a motion to receive and file?
Motion to receive and file.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a first and a second. Can I have a roll call, please?
Thank you, Mayor. Members of the council, Chavez, Councilwoman Guillen, Councilwoman Sanchez, Mayor Pro Tem de la Rosa,
Yes.
and Mayor Barcena.
Yes,
Motion passes 5-0.
thank you. And now we're gonna go to City Council Successor Agency member comments, and we'll start with Councilmember Chavez.
Thank you for that, Mayor Barcena. Really quick, everybody, I want to keep my comments short. I wanted to mention that first off, give it up for our staff at our Recreation and Community Services Department for putting on an amazing Halloween and Dia de los Muertos event. It was incredible, by far one of the biggest events we've had of the year in attendance. And we included a laser show as well. So it feels like it's been a while, but it was just about 2 weeks ago. So really just want to tip my hat off to our team and just everybody who was out there, everybody in staff who made this possible. Everybody from Public Works to the folks, setting up the stage. I saw PD was out there as well. We had our fire department also with their truck. So just again, a phenomenal event. And as always, thank you to our city manager for putting an incredible team to deliver amazing community events such as ours. I also want to just, again, congratulate Atención Plena for the recognition today, same as Jammer for Veterans Day, and MRZ Barbershop. Just incredible to continually give recognitions to our community for the services and time that they provide to our residents. Finally, I want to go ahead and just reiterate the point that I know the city manager made about Prop 50. Prop 50 passed. Everybody passed overwhelmingly within 5 minutes of the results. We had declared that victory for Prop 50. So as it stands, if all goes as planned in terms of the folks who are currently in office were to transition, we would have a new representative being Congresswoman Linda Sanchez. She has never represented the city of Bell Gardens, but she is very familiar with the city already. I've actually spoken to her already. So just want to go ahead and make that invitation to all of you as well, that we should definitely be in touch with our Congresswoman. From what I've heard, she sits on the means committee out in DC, which means that she can definitely bring in some of those funds to our community and our projects that we're planning here in the city. Finally, on the topic of committees, I know we just passed a committee with the resolution and put Mayor Barcena along with the Vice Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem de la Rosa, on a committee. I wanted to bring an idea of perhaps creating another committee for our city, calling it the Housing, Community, and Economic Development Committee. With obviously the interest to sit on that committee myself, to discuss housing and community and economic development, based out of the Cal Cities model that they already have. They actually have a committee, and I serve as the vice chair for that statewide. So I'd love to create one here for the city of Bell Gardens and hopefully sit on that. So if possible, I'd like to give direction and perhaps bring that committee creation for the next meeting, if time permits. And I would assume this committee would be made up of obviously community development director, myself, and another council member. just to discuss, community and economic development throughout the city. I would assume it also would align a little bit with strategic plan, just, thinking long ahead, because I know that was something that was a priority for the whole council. When we talk about beautifying and improving the facade and bringing in housing and building development throughout the city. So with that said, I'll go ahead and conclude my comments, and if we can bring that item, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much, everybody. Happy Veterans Day.
Thank you, Councilmember Chavez. Councilwoman Guillen?
Thank you, staff, for all your hard work. Thank you again for the Halloween and Dia de los Muertos event. And thank you to everyone, our community members that joined us in St. Gertrude the Great. It was also wonderful. And I want to keep it very brief. Happy birthday to Mr. City Manager. Happy birthday to my colleague over here. And then happy birthday to Chief. So thank you all. And have a happy Thanksgiving, because I know we'll wrap it up. And enjoy it with your families. Que no se empachen.
Thank you, Councilmember Guillen. I didn't know it was Vice Mayor De La Rosa's birthday. Okay. I don't know if
Scorpio season over here,
Yeah. I'll spare you guys the agony of hearing me sing happy birthday, but happy birthday.
I was looking forward to that.
Yeah. Only if you
I'll join you.
if you dance to it.
Do you want me to dance?
I don't know.
I'm good.
Okay.
I don't have the dance moves. Sorry.
All right, Council.
But we're on the topic of birthdays. I know it's also Councilwoman Guillen's birthday as well.
Oh, it is.
The day
Oh,
after.
Is it a
Yeah.
date before or after?
Is before or after?
There you
Well,
go.
why don't we just go ahead and sing happy birthday
All right.
for everybody's birthday? Because we're already here. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, everybody. Happy birthday to you. All right. Okay. Councilwoman Sanchez.
Happy Veterans Day once again to all the veterans, especially to our city manager, Michael Kelly, and to Jammer from the American Legion. Also, thank you to staff. I know it's going to be a very busy time with the holidays and a bunch of events. Just make sure to take some time to take care of yourself and be with your family, especially during Thanksgiving. It's a time to be grateful and give thanks. And I know right now with certain situations, it's difficult. Just make sure that people are aware and get informed that there are a lot of food banks out there. So if people need to reach out or you don't know where to go, feel free to reach out to me directly and I will go ahead and help you get those resources during this time. And thank you once again to staff. I am super excited to see the project of Ford Park, the playground, the Sunshine Building. Once again, like I said, that's something very dear to me. The fact that, I know it takes a long time sometimes to get projects moving, but the fact that it is where it's at now and it's just gonna improve and get better. I greatly appreciate it and happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Mayor Pro Tem De La Rosa.
Yeah, I would like to acknowledge all our veterans. Mr. O'Kelly, thank you for your service. And thank you to all the families who, have veterans. It's the ultimate sacrifice and, want to acknowledge that. I also want to take into account that, we had a great couple of weeks of programming, from the Dia de los Muertos and Halloween event. That was amazing, as well as the fishing derby as well. That was very phenomenal with all the families tagging along, and it was heartwarming. And at last, I just want to thank staff and our colleagues for all the great work. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. And now it's my turn. I just want to echo the comments of my colleagues. The Halloween / Dia de los Muertos event was amazing. We had elected officials from other cities like commenting on the videos that we put up. They were just wowed by it. And it was just awesome. Thank you so much for being creative with all the different moving elements, the incorporation of the laser show. It was just outstanding. So good job. Also, we had a great time at the fishing derby, and we had a camera meetup, like a last minute thing. It was a lot of fun. If we can maybe think of a way to incorporate that into the next one next year, that would be awesome. But even just the way it was perfect. So thank you for all the hard work. Um, I wanted to ask about the water cistern project. You know, that's one of those projects that is so important regionally, and I always feel like there's just so much more room for us to highlight that. And given that we're right now going to be continuing to enhance and work on that project, I wanted to ask the city manager, do you think it will be a good idea to maybe have an update, like a more in-depth update for the next meeting? Is that something that we can do?
Yes, Mayor, I think so. I think by now we either have good data or we can describe the challenges we've had in getting good data about how things look like they're working so far.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. City Manager. And, you know, as we continue to discuss these efforts to improve our civic engagement, I've been talking to our legal, and I want to give direction to prepare an agenda item for the next meeting with options to allow more of our residents to participate in city commissions. So that's just another effort that I want to put out there to explore. So maybe we can prepare something for our next agenda. And yeah, apart from that, I want to thank all of our employees again for doing an outstanding job. Everything ranging from our new facility, the pool facility, from public works all the way to recreation and community services. That's now, you know, they're kind of kicking into a higher gear when it comes to promoting our programming. I'm looking forward to seeing all of that, and then in conjunction with the ad hoc that we're going to be starting, hopefully we can inject some great ideas and make it kind of go into turbo mode. Again, thank you all for all the work that you've done. Thank you to our veterans for your service. And, you know, I want to close the meeting. Before I close the meeting, I just want to ask for a moment of silence for all of our veterans that have, you know, they've served our country and given their lives, the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom. So I want to ask for a moment of silence. And if there's no objection by the members of the City Council, I will now adjourn the City Council and Successor Agency joint meeting at 7:49 p.m.